Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NBA Front Office Show. Got a great show today. We've got a little bit of news to get into. We've got an extension for Keegan Murray to talk about, a few other minor moves around the NBA, and then we're going to make our predictions. The East, the West, how will the standings finish up? Who's going to be in the conference finals, and who will be hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy when the dust settles? I'm Trevor Lade, joined as always by Keith Smith. If you haven't subscribed yet to the NBA Front Office Show over on YouTube, please make sure you do, and follow us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Keith, I look forward to this show every year because we get to make our predictions. I usually, and I think I am maybe repressing last year's, I can't remember how we did based on last year's predictions, but I always feel really good about my predictions coming out of it. And then usually once the season unfurls, some of them wind up looking a bit foolish, but that's just the way it goes.
I think you did have the Thunder as your champion preseason. So, yeah, I know I picked the Celtics to repeat, so I fell short on that one. But, yeah, it is, and it's fun, right? It's a good way for us to get things on the record and, where we're feeling. And this year, I'll be completely honest, I feel pretty good about the top couple teams in each conference. And then everybody else, I'm a little like, I don't kind of know. And then you get to the bottom few teams, and I'm like, all right, I feel pretty good about them. The middle of these conferences are just,
it's the middle.
Yeah, it's just packed.
There's so many teams as I was going through and doing my rankings where I'm slotting a team in a certain spot, and I'm like, but they could be a lot better than this. Like fans of Team X are going to be upset with me, and justifiably so, because they have more upside than this, but just kind of that's sometimes the way the rankings fall. So anyway, we've got a lot to get into on that, but to make sure we've got enough time to get into that full conversation, why don't we jump into some of our news here?
Yeah.
And we'll start with this because, of course, Keith, as soon as we finish up recording a show, boom, we get more news comes out. The Keegan Murray extension hit. So the Sacramento Kings coming to terms on a deal with Keegan Murray. Obviously, he did just suffer that injury, but not a long-term thing or anything like that. That was the UCL for Keegan Murray, if I'm remembering correctly. Left thumb. 5 years, $140 million for Keegan Murray. Anich, I know you are the leader of the Keegan Murray fan. Keith, do you own a Keegan Murray or an Oso Ighodaro jersey? And if not, how quickly can we rectify that? Because you are the biggest fan of both players.
Yeah, ideally it would be like one of those jerseys. No one needs to see me rocking a tank top. But if anybody wanted to send a signed one, I'd be happy to put it in a frame and hang it up, but be in the office when
we'll put it on the wall behind you. Be a little decor there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're in process of trying to get me moved into a different office. So more to come on that down the line. But yeah, it was funny. Some of the reaction to this, I saw there was a lot of, oh my gosh, what an overpay, and this guy's not even good, and all those things. And obviously, yes, I am a Keegan Murray fan, but I don't think this is an overpay at all. $28 million average annual value feels pretty good to me for what Keegan Murray can be. I think the challenge has been he is very miscast as a fourth or fifth option on the Kings. I'd love to see what he does with the ball more, and I think he can do more. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Keegan Murray. I think this contract will age just fine. I'm very interested in seeing the structure when it comes out. We've seen more and more of these rookie scale extensions are trending towards being flat, where it's just you get to the average number and it's like 28 million a year, and that's where we go. So I'm curious to see if that's how it goes, or does it follow the standard structure? Did the Kings get creative at all, which then gives us a little insight into, hey, here's what they're thinking in year 2 or 3, if it is one of those ones that goes down and then maybe comes back up. So yeah, that'll matter. But I think 28 million a year for Keegan Murray on average, that's just fine.
This is I've just found it here on Spot Track, and this is always remember when the numbers are that kind of light purplish color. Yeah. That's how you know those are just kind of placeholders for when the actual numbers do come in. I saw the general reaction was that this was kind of a high price tag for Keegan Murray, and I think it is too. I think it's a little bit high simply because I'm concerned about the declining three-point shooting numbers. Have they really? I don't think it's a talent question with Keegan Murray. I think it's have the Kings fully utilized him the way that he really should be. I think that if he is, this is going to look like a really good gamble. But for an NBA where teams have been seemingly more allergic to long-term money than ever before being on the books, it is a bit of a risk. Now, I've been saying for a while that the Kings need to make significant roster changes in terms of the structure of their team. They've got too many guys who their default setting is to put the ball in the basket. Keegan Murray, because of the versatility to do a lot of different things out there on the floor, I think he's very important for this team. And over the years, I think this deal will look better and better because I believe ultimately the Kings will get on track, will ultimately shift their team and the build that they have right now in a way that will be more beneficial for Keegan Murray. But as it is right now, based purely on the production we've seen so far, it's a little bit much for me, but I can see the path towards this being a very, very reasonable deal, particularly with the rising salary cap.
Yeah, I think this is, you're still betting on, I don't even want to call it like potential, because Keegan Murray is 25. He's
Sure.
an older player. He was an older rookie when he came in, despite leaving school a year early because he was started the school process a year later. So I don't want to say there's like unrealized potential here, but I think it's just, if allowed to do more, I think he will do more, and I think he will perform at a higher level. We just gotta get it there. That's the challenge. And you're absolutely right. I mean, as structured, if you just look at on that list, he's sixth in salary for this season. But if he's on the floor with any one of those five guys in front of him, he's behind them in the pecking order as far as touches and shots go. And he's going to kind of be behind any pairing of, or quintet that you put together that involves any four of those five guys. And that's just the challenge. I also don't necessarily love him and Sabonis as a pairing in the front court, because neither one of them is going to be the rim protector that you need necessarily. Yeah. Keegan Murray's a very good shot blocker for a wing forward, but he's not like a true like help side, weak side rim protector, anything like that. So there's just a lot of work to be done with this roster. But I think this is the kind of move where I feel pretty good about this one for Sacramento, because now it's going to be, I'm not saying you're building around Keegan Murray, but as you start to change out the rest of the roster, at least you've kind of got him as a rock solid piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Keegan Murray, you mentioned the shot blocking and that he can be something there. I agree. This fit with Sabonis can be, a little bit wonky, particularly if Keegan Murray is the four, but you called out the shot blocking, 83rd percentile among other forwards via cleaning the glass. That you'll take that. That's obviously one of the better shot blocking forwards in the NBA. For me, I want to see that corner three. Look at it as a rookie, 83rd percentile for that corner three. I want to see that number come back up over the course of the season. I think it definitely can. You could see the rim finishing, how much that has improved. I mean, 96th percentile last season in 76 games played. There is growth happening here, and I think the shooting numbers will come around. And if they do, then this is a fantastic bargain, I think, for the Sacramento Kings. Are you surprised at all, though, that Keegan Murray got a higher average annual value than, say, Josh Giddey or Jonathan Kuminga or any of those guys?
No, not really. I think with Kuminga, that was just such a unique situation, and there was always an upper bound to what they were going to give him because they needed to fit in Horford and then the other players in there the way they wanted to sign them. So I think if you look at like a guy like Josh Giddey, I think it's just different kind of situation there, and Giddey did only sign a 4-year contract, so that part, maybe if he had gone out to 5 years, that would have gone up a little higher. I'm not entirely sure. It was also restricted free agency, so there's no real, I think, feel of like we need to do this as the Bulls. But yeah, I think the kind of interesting comp that I saw some people say, which is, they're two guys from the same draft class, Jabari Smith Jr. Keegan Murray got more average annual value than Jabari Smith Jr.
That's interesting.
And again, I think this is a what are we trying to build and do in the next couple of seasons? I think the Rockets wanted to keep Jabari Smith Jr.'s contract a little bit lower because they're trying to really load up over the next couple of years. And they had already signed Şengün long-term. Jalen Green's no longer there. Obviously, you're going to have Durant for a couple more seasons after this, at least. So I think we're just in a spot where it just becomes a little bit of a interesting, comp there between those two.
In a vacuum, should Keegan Murray make more than Jabari Smith Jr.?
And they're probably really close. I think in some respects, Keegan Murray's shown a little bit more, but it was also a little earlier in his career where Jabari Smith Jr. Has done a little bit better more recently. But it's so funny. The top 4 from that draft class, like I love all 4 of those guys. Like Paolo, Chet, these two, like what a really good draft class that has turned out to be. And then you got Jalen Williams further down, obviously is a great player. So I think they're pretty comparable as players because it's just a little more, you're still having to do a lot of heavy projection. I will say this, Jabari Smith Jr. is like 3 years younger than Keegan Murray.
That's
so
notable.
Part has to factor in at least a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, look at this draft class. Paulo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith Jr. That was the big swerve where Orlando had everybody convinced they were taking Jabari Smith Jr. number 1, and then like 45 minutes before the draft, we found out it's actually going to be Paulo.
Yeah.
That was an all-time. That was great. But Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey, I think when he's healthy, he's exciting. You got Ben Mathurin, Shaedon Sharpe, Dyson Daniels. I mean, this was a pretty good.
It's really when you get down to 9, 10, 11, where it's a little more shaky. Jeremy Sohan, I like. He just hasn't necessarily blossomed. Davis is out of the league. Ousmane Dieng maybe headed that direction himself. But yeah, I mean, there's good players even further down too.
Yeah, I mean, you got Christian Brown. We're going to be looking at maybe an extension for him. Walker Kessler's not getting an extension,
Eason.
but he's really good. Tari Eason is amazing. The Rockets love him. We got Mark Williams here as well, who's not going to get an extension done with the Suns. There's some real players in this draft class. Even look at the
got extended already. Good draft overall when you hit on that many guys. Scroll down in the second round because there's probably a couple of second rounders. Nemhard, obviously. Really good player.
Yep.
Jalen Williams has become a decent rotation guy.
Our old friend Max Christie is there. Jaden Hardy.
I like Moussa Diabate.
Moussa Diabate.
Yep. A couple guys who could play there. Vince Williams Jr. has popped. And made it. So yeah, I mean some interesting guys in that draft class for sure.
Yeah, some good players, no question. Okay, so Keegan Murray's extension gets done. We also have a retirement, a surprise retirement that we're going to get to next. Great presenting sponsor for the Front Office Show is Sleeper. If you've ever heard of the Sleeper app, here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats, plus a news feed. This is so critical for me. Get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams, a real-time chat. You can engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA season. So download the #1 sports app today and experience it for yourself. If you can see, I've made a couple of season-long picks there. Some deep cuts. We've got Tyler Warren for the Indianapolis Colts. NFL season is here. I've got him more than 550.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to be a big part of that offense. And then Zach Charbonnet, essentially, I'm saying I don't think that Ken Walker is going to wind up staying healthy all season. I've got him more than 499.5 rushing yards. I think the opportunities will be there for Charbonnet. So click that link in the description down below. Use the promo code CAPSPACE and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. So a surprise retirement kind of came from out of left field. Malcolm Brogdon decided to retire from the NBA. Shams Charania was reporting that he was likely to make the Knicks roster and be one of their backup guards, but instead Brogdon says, I've had enough, and he is going to call it a career. Keith, I know he's battled injuries over the course of his career. He came in as an older rookie as well, so it doesn't feel like he's been in the league like as long as he actually has, because he's been kind of sporadically in and out. But when he plays, he's a really solid player. Are you surprised that he decided, especially when he was on the cusp of making the next roster, that he decided to hang him up?
Yeah, I am surprised because this really did come out of nowhere because just in the last couple of days, there had been more reporting out of New York. Ian Begley's been all over it with the Knicks are looking to do moves to try to keep Brogdon and Shamit. The Knicks they're dealing with the second apron hard cap that they have. So they're in a spot where they do not have room um to sign two players to veteran minimum deals. So they'd have to trade somebody. There's been a lot of rumors about Comdadier, maybe Ariel Hawkporty to create that room. But yeah, this one came out of nowhere. And like you said, Sham said Brogdon's even going to make it. You know what this feels like a little? It feels like one of those NFL retirements where a guy just shows up at camp one day and he's just like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And it
Yeah.
feels a little bit like that's where Brogdon got to. And after his year with the Celtics and covering him through that, and obviously the earlier parts of his career, he has a lot of things he does off court as well. So he's going to go on and be wildly successful off the court too, and doing a lot of things, especially a lot of things that are for betterment of people and the like. But yeah, definitely a surprise that he's not going to play. I think this probably puts things a little in flux for the Knicks because we were
Sure.
counting on that. We're going to have Brogdon, and in one of Brogdon and Jordan Clarkson each night, you'll get something out of alongside Miles McBride off the bench. And now it'll be Shamit, I assume, makes it. There's been a lot of talk of what about Garrison Matthews? Maybe he makes it. But again, that they got to get off another player if that's the direction they want to go.
Yeah, what is this? If in terms of a backup ball handler, this puts the Knicks in a little bit of a. I mean, do they call up Russell Westbrook and ask him if the ink is dried yet, or what? What do you do here if you're the Knicks moving forward? And is it just you just find a way to keep Shamit and that's maybe that's the easiest answer here for where they go after Brogdon has decided to retire here.
Yeah, and I'm not super stressed about it. Jalen Brunson, obviously, one of the best players in the league. He will play a lot. He'll have the
Sure.
ball a lot. And I think it's a spot where I like Deuce McBride a lot. I think he's really, really good. I think you can do a lot with him. I like when they put him with Towns because you can run a lot of offense through Towns. They seem very committed to starting Robinson and Towns. It's so funny that we're back to like bigs in the NBA being a
Right.
thing now. But
Look at the Rockets. They
yeah,
started the other night a
oh my
supersized lineup.
gosh. Yeah, well, what a crazy supersize. And then the Mavs the other night with
Mhm.
Cooper Flag as the one and Clay at the two. I don't think anybody was under 6'7". I think how often do you think Clay Thompson's walked on the floor and been the shortest guy in a lineup? But
Right.
yeah, you can imagine it's been very often. But back to the Knicks. I think Tyler Kolek's okay. They do have Jordan Clarkson. We've seen Jordan Clarkson do some on-ball stuff. I think they'll be all right. I think they can get by. But yeah, you keep Shamit. See if they keep Matthews. He's a pretty good shooter and go forward from there. But yeah, it's a definitely. I think probably threw a little bit of a monkey wrench in their plans of now we got to fix this and or not fix it, but we got to figure this out.
All right. Malcolm Brogdon retiring. Good on him though.
Yeah.
Great career. And one of those, I think, always underrated players in the NBA. He decides that he's going to walk away here, but the Knicks, should be okay. But we'll see if they have some subsequent moves later on in the season in order to shore up their guard rotation. But let's get over to a little bit of injury news. Kevon Looney is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, much to the dismay of Jordan Poole, who was super excited to get screens set by Kevon Looney with the Pels. But he's going to be out for a couple of weeks here. So this puts the start of the season out of reach for him. And he'll miss the first, couple weeks here, probably. You never know with how long a ramp up could be, particularly after a knee injury. You want to be careful with something like that. But unfortunate news, not the end of the world. He'll be back. Yves Missi can take on some more of the burden while he's out, but still worth noting that the Pels will be without Kevon Looney to start the year.
Yeah. Also, Pelicans without Derek Queen, who is going to play a big role in that front court. We've had no update. I was checking on that this morning, and there's been really nothing said about where he's at as far as is he close? Is he, what is he even doing? Like, I haven't seen anything on him. So that's kind of interesting. They're now down those two guys. Obviously, DeJounte Murray is going to be out for a while yet still as he recovers from the torn Achilles. So Hunter Dickinson, I guess, steps into a few more minutes behind Yves Missy. He's there on a two-way contract. They don't have really good small ball five options. They've never really wanted to do that with Zion, I think, because it just defensively becomes really hard. But I mean, here we are, year whatever of the Pelicans. Like Kevon Looney, other than when he had the hip stuff early in his career, never misses time for injuries. He's had periods where he's not been in like the Warriors rotation. This guy rarely ever misses time with injuries, and now joins the Pelicans, and all of a sudden it's, hey, here's a knee injury, and you're out for a little bit. So, like you said, if it's 2-3 weeks, not the end of the world. You get him back, and you kind of move forward with that. But yeah, just not where you want to be starting the year.
All right, and the Hornets have waived Spencer Dinwiddie. Moving on from another veteran here. Woody, are you surprised that Dinwiddie didn't make the Hornets roster when they seemed like they could probably use all the adults in the room that they can get?
I was surprised when they signed him because perfect. You're pulling it up. Look at all the guards already.
Right.
Mel Ball, Colin Sexton, Brendan Miller plays a lot at the guard position. They've got Trey Mann. You've got Collins. I already said Colin Sexton, but you just got guards after guards after guards. And I didn't really get it. I was like, kind of why do you need Dinwiddie here too? So that was weird. And I thought, all right, Pat Connaughton, that was a straight salary dump move from the Bucks as they created the cap space. Sign Miles Turner. He'll get waived. Dinwiddie will be on this team and we go. But they gave Dinwiddie a fully guaranteed contract. It's always odd outside of true camp signings when a guy gets a fully guaranteed contract, even for the minimum, as a free agent, then they don't make the opening night roster and there's not an injury involved. So a little weird. People are like, where does Dinwiddie go now? I think we're getting into the more name than game territory a little bit here with Spencer Dinwiddie. I think it's interesting there where let's see, for him, I'm guessing probably bides his time a little bit. When an injury pops up and he has a role and can play, he jumps in because now he's already, secured his money for this season with that. So, and somehow as I know we're getting ready to transition into our predictions for the season, I don't think this really changes all that much for where the Charlotte Hornets are going to finish.
Right, exactly. I don't think it does either, but worth noting too, this is now, what is this? Just about $5 million in dead money sitting on the books for the Charlotte Hornets this season between Nick Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie because, again, as Keith noted, that guaranteed contract. All right, Keith.
How were Lakers fans? How did they take the Eric Dixon getting kind of the Hornets snaking in there and snagging him, and they're going to get him to their G League team versus the Lakers?
I haven't really seen much of a response. I think a lot of that was because we were excited to see him in Summer League.
Sure.
And then we were down on the floor, editor extraordinaire for Lakers Nation, Daniel Starkand and I, and we were talking about Eric Dixon and like, hey, it'll be cool to see him play. And he rolls past us on a scooter. Yeah. And we're like, oh, I guess he's not going to be playing.
Guess that's not happening.
So, but then he had linked up with the Lakers and was going to be joining them in for camp. And then obviously something changed there because now he's not. But I think that there was so much like initial excitement and then where is he? And then frustration and then why is he still not here? What's going on? And all of that at this point, it's all kind of dissipated. I honestly think most Lakers fans haven't been considering Eric Dixon for quite a bit now.
I don't know how many are locked in on South Bay's roster either at this point.
That is very true. That is very true.
More let's just say bigger fish to fry. With this one. So let's get into it, man. Let's make a whole bunch of people mad at us and then just let's be wrong on record.
All right. We've got our predictions. So how do you want to do that? You want to just go through and give me your top actually, why don't you give me your top 15 and I'll stop you when we have a difference.
All right. Perfect.
Okay, and we'll see how in sync we actually are here.
And I will track these and we'll see where we go with this down the line. All right. So we're doing the East first, correct?
Yeah, let's do the East first.
So if people watched our tiers podcast, I tried to say not much changed for me in there based on the preseason. Couple in the West, I moved things around, but in the East, I've got Cleveland number 1,
Mm-hmm.
New York number 2,
Mm-hmm.
Orlando number 3,
Yes.
Atlanta number 4.
Okay, I have a change there. I had
Okay.
a feeling.
All right.
So I have Detroit at number 4.
Okay.
I've got Cade Cunningham and the boys taking the next step. I know Malik Beasley's situation is still kind of out there. We don't know what's going to happen there, but I got Cade Cunningham and the boys taking a step here.
All right. I've got Detroit number 5.
Okay, so I have Atlanta number 5. So we just
Okay.
flipped those two.
All right.
That's it.
You got Milwaukee number 6.
Yep.
Okay. I've got Philly 7th.
Oh, okay. I do not.
Okay. Who do you have 7th?
I have your Celtics at 7.
Okay. All right. I have the Celtics at 8th.
Okay.
Who do you have in 8th?
Okay, so in that order, I have the Pacers sitting in 8th. I've got the Pacers hanging in there despite Halliburton. I just think, they still have enough talent there, I think, and they're going to be so feisty. So I think they can hang into that 8th spot.
So I have them 9th.
Okay.
Who do you have in 9th?
9, I have I've actually bumped them up here. This is the team that I had the hardest time with, and that's the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
I went ahead and moved the Raptors up to the ninth spot to give them a little bit of love.
All right, I've got them at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still pretty close on these, except who do you have at 10?
At 10, I have, and they are thrilled to be there, the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
Sitting at the 10th seed. They aim for it.
I see on the Sixers.
Yes, I am. I went more on the side of they've hurt me before. I'm not going to let them hurt me again. I'm going to assume injuries are a big factor here, so I'm going to bump them down in a big way.
Well, you maybe learn a lesson when we get to the West. I don't on
okay. Oh no.
Team. All right. I had all right. So then we're to 11. So I have Miami at 11.
I actually have Miami there as well, and then the Sixers.
All right. Then you have the Sixers at 12, and then I'm gonna guess we're probably the same. I know they're the same bottom 3 teams. Mine were Charlotte, Washington, and then Brooklyn.
I have the same. I have that order as well.
All right. So our big difference is on the Sixers. I have them at 7. You have them at 12. I will say this. I'm going to be wrong on Philly. They're either going to be pushing into the top 4 or 5, or they're going to be down where you have them. I just can't really see a world. I didn't know where to put them. Like I was like, I didn't want to put them too high. I didn't want to put them out of the playoffs, but yeah, a little bit of a, tough team to place.
I had a very difficult time with them as well. And I'll tell you, it ultimately came down to, do I want to put, because if they're healthy, they are way better than this if they're healthy. But I'm like, do I want Sixers fans to be mad at me? Or do I want Raptors fans to be mad at me? Or do I want, you know what I mean? And I think that it's most understandable to see the 76ers because we can predict injuries, because they've had so many issues with that in the past. Although we did get good news today about Paul George playing in a full practice and even playing 5-on-5. So I hope if they are healthy, I'm going to be very wrong on this. I'm just trying to bake in significant injury. They already have Jared McCain out. So that's all I'm doing there. But I had a very tough time with where to put the 76ers because I know that it is so dependent on health. And if they are remotely healthy, this is going to look very foolish in terms of a ranking. Yeah,
and I just kind of slammed them in the middle, and I'm moving on from there. I do have I think the Celtics and Pacers are so good anyway without Tatum and Halliburton that they're not what they were before. But I think those teams are going to be good. I feel a little uneasy about Toronto. Toronto's going to be a team I'm super excited to watch them.
Yeah.
Because I think that they could really be something. There's just a lot of overlapping guys. I'm not sure how it's going to fit. I'm a little worried about if some guys start to just balk a little at like, hey, wait a minute, why am I getting less minutes, or why am I seeing the ball less, or whatever? There's potential there. And then Miami, of course, Miami's always like, you'll pick against the Heat at your own risk. But I think we both had them at 11th, and I'm just kind of in a spot with the Heat where I'm like, I don't know. Tyler Hero's already hurt. I don't love a lot of other stuff on that roster. It just, a little messy in Miami.
Okay, so let's do the West, and then we'll get into our conference finals.
Yeah, sounds good. You
So
go first. Your
let's jump over
conference,
there.
you go first.
Okay, I'll go with the West. So I have OKC number 1.
We match.
Hot take. The Denver Nuggets going number 2.
We're still good.
I have the Houston Rockets, even without Fred VanVleet. I've got them finishing 3rd.
Okay, pause, because here's where we're different.
Okay. I had a feeling the Rockets might be questionable here.
Because I'm a stupid moron, and I can't quit them. I have the Clippers 3rd.
Oh, no.
Now what it is, it's not the Kawhi and James Harden and all that. It's the depth. Their second unit is insane.
Depth, yeah.
Like, it doesn't even make sense that that's what you're coming off the bench with like Chris Paul and Brook Lopez and Bogdanovich.
John Collins, yeah.
Yeah, John Collins, maybe. Like that second unit is probably a playoff team in the East.
Sure.
Like, that's what I'm buying into with the Clippers. I think they are now more set up than any time in this last few year run. If Kawhi misses a long time, if Kawhi's not on the team for some reason, I think they're set up to be okay. But I don't know. I shouldn't have done it. I wasn't gonna do it, and then I was like, you know what, let's get hurt again.
As long, yeah, I mean, obviously, if Kawhi decides to make like a tree and leave, then this whole situation could change with the Clippers. But look, it has burned you in the past, and you're saying I am ready to get hurt again. Although last year it was the Suns were the team that you were in on, and I'm assuming you don't have the Suns anywhere near the top here this year. Okay, so I have the Rockets 3rd. You have the Clippers in 3rd.
Yep.
The 4 seed. In the West, I could rearrange these teams in just about any order.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you could just shake them up Yahtzee style and just roll them out there, and whatever it came out as, okay. But I made the homer pick, so Lakers fans don't get too mad at me. I got the Lakers in 4.
Okay, so let's pause there because we're a little different. And I do want to say this too: Oklahoma City and Denver, like, class of their own.
Yes.
1 and 2.
Agreed.
Houston would have been right there for me in 3rd, Fred VanVleet injury. Also, I don't love Dorian Finney-Smith, not ready to play yet.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tate's not ready to go full yet. Like, just a little worried about their depth in Houston and leaning on. I mean, I love Durant. I love Alperen Şengün. Eamon Thompson's awesome, but they're leaning on some young guys now that I don't think they were necessarily there. But so I dropped them in, but I am really 3 through, I'm going to say 7 is now my cutoff in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in any order you want.
Yes.
And you're fine. Or tell me today who is the healthiest teams, and I'll rank them by that.
That really is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
It's so close in the West. So who do you have in 4 then?
I have Golden State in 4. I like the way they filled out the roster. I think they have pretty good depth this year. I think they're better positioned to those nights when it's, hey, we're going to sit Jimmy Butler tonight to kind of make it through it with stuff. So I'm pretty excited with that. So
and a injury to LeBron already doesn't bode as well for my, like, I fully understand why you put the Warriors there, and especially if you look at post Jimmy trade, Warriors put up some really impressive numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
I think Horford's going to help them. Melton, when he gets back, is going to help them a lot. I just, another year of growth for Moody and Pajemski. I'm excited for them.
Okay, so I have the Wolves sitting in 5.
Okay.
But again, we could flip these teams around any which way.
This is where Houston is in 5.
You've got Houston in 5. I have the Warriors and Clippers in 6 and 7. And I only bumped it, like, I could make, just like you did, I can make an argument they're the 3 and the 4. Yeah. But I only bumped them down just due to age concerns. And that was my only differentiator there, was overall age. I know people go, but the Lakers have LeBron. Yeah, but the rest of their roster is really young. So the Warriors and Clippers are older across their roster. The Warriors do have some young guys. The Clippers are mostly pretty old. But I just see guys taking games off, if I'm the Warriors, if I'm the Clippers, not playing back-to-backs, things of that nature, and that bumping them down a little bit. But again, I think both teams are going to be very good, and both teams are certainly clubs that can make a lot of noise in the postseason if they can get everybody there healthy.
Yeah, I have Minnesota in 6.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just a little bit lower. And then the Lakers I have in 7. And again,
Hater.
before, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But really it is just like you said, it's just pick an order. And I don't like that I'll say second best player now. I think Luke is their best player,
Mhm.
is out. And it's back stuff. Just I'm traumatized from it, from growing up
Sure.
as a Larry Bird fan. Of it can be, hey, he's feeling really good and we're ready to go, and then 2 days later he's out for another 2 weeks. I am just, I'm very nervous of where they're going to go with that. I think there are better players in some positions, but I think the depth is still a little shaky at spots. I'm a little bit
Sure.
nervous about that. So that's the only reason why. But I mean, if you told me the Lakers were third when the season ended, sure, okay. To me, that means LeBron came back and played 60 games or more. That's how you get them to third. But I have no real concerns about that. I also believe the Lakers are just, they're, wherever they finish, they're a dangerous playoff team, because you walk on the court with Luka and LeBron and you're already feeling like, all right, we're pretty good. We're in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. I'd like to make a point too here, and that is one that I made to a lot of Lakers fans, and that is not to tie the quality of your team too heavily in the West to their seeding. I think this year, specifically, like the Lakers came in the 3 seed. I've warned a lot of Lakers fans. They could finish. They could be. I'm not saying they will be, but they could be a better team, a better quality basketball team this year, and finish lower in the standings than they did that last year. So there was 2 games that separated 3 through 8 last season in the Western Conference. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
that's
insane.
it's crazy. So that's nothing. So,
Yeah.
but that holds true for every West team. One of your guys steps off the curb and turns his ankle, and that could be the difference between the 3 seed and the
Yep.
8 seed. And we tend to disparage teams a lot more. Oh, that's a play-in team. They're not any good. It's just a play-in team. No, in the West, the
Somebody
quality,
has
the
to be.
parity is so deep. You
Yep.
just have to keep that in mind whenever we're looking at seeding in the Western Conference. It's not necessarily an indication of the quality of the club. If they're the 8 seed in the Western Conference, they may very well be capable of giving the 3 seed a run if they were to match up there, or the 1 seed, whatever. 8-1 is probably not the best example because OKC, but could the 7 seed beat the 2 seed in the Western Conference? Absolutely.
Yeah, and let's also, like you said, it was, not only was it 2 games between 3 and 8, it was only 4 games between 2 and 8 in the
Yeah.
West last year. Like, just, I mean, it is there, and I'll say it now for the first time this year, and I'm going to probably say it a million times over the next 6 months of hoops before the end of the regular season. A bad week in the West or a really great week in the West could change your spot in the standings by 3 or 4 positions. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just going to be how tight it's going to be in there. So I'm not, I don't want anybody to get hung up on overall seedings. I'm going through now. We're not going to do it here, but I'm going through and doing my win predictions, and then I try to get it to the actual like 1,230 wins and 1,230 losses across the league. Just because I like to have a better sense, and I can already tell you I'm going to have jam packed in the West.
It's going to be so tough. Okay. So I have in the 8th spot, I have the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
And then
I have the Memphis Grizzlies.
okay. I moved the Grizz down a bit lower. So
Okay.
we'll separate on that. I have in the 9 seed the Spurs. And I think I have the Spurs as the team that has the highest potential to significantly move up, especially if Wemby is what we think Wemby is, and if Dylan Harper can be what we think Dylan Harper can be. But I need to see it first before I'm going to bump them out of that play-in range. But I do think there's a lot of upward mobility. Did you have the Spurs in 9, or who'd you have?
Yeah, I had them in 9. Yep.
Okay. And then in the 10 seed, I'm going to give them some credit. I went with the Blazers. I went with the Portland Trail. I'll buy into their post All-Star break run a little bit. I love Tumani Kamara, his game. I think Donovan Clingan is ready to take a step forward there as well. I think they've got a solid defensive squad. And I think they're going to play, and this is so important in a league where on a random Wednesday night in January, you have to have that little bit of fight in you. I think they've got that little bit of us against the world type mentality that I think will serve them well in the dog days of the season.
Yeah, I like Portland too. The reality is I like Memphis, San Antonio, and Dallas a little bit more.
Sure.
Yeah, I had just a little bit. So that's where I had Dallas. I had Dallas at 10.
And I actually have the Pels as my 11 seed and the
Okay.
Grizz as my 12 seed.
All right.
And that is, I've seen Memphis's seasons get blown up due to injuries, and they're already dealing with so many. They got some good news on Jaren Jackson Jr., though. Sounds like he may play the final preseason game for the Grizzlies. So that's a great sign for them. John Morant, should he be back in action? Yeah, but you're still missing Brandon Clark, Zach Edey. You made a significant change moving on from Desmond Bane. I have a feeling this may be the year we get the random healthy Zion season. So I'm going to be a little bit more in on the Pels. Maybe that's what will ultimately burn me. But whereas the Grizz, I've got them continuing to deal with injury issues, so I had them as the 12 in the West.
It's really important to know with New Orleans too, they don't have their pick, so there's no reason for them to tank at any point this year. If guys are healthy, you might as well play. Like there's nothing to be lost for them by winning games. Like you want to kind of keep things moving forward a little bit there. So my 11 and 12 were Portland and Sacramento.
Okay,
was where I had those two. So all right, we're into the bottom three.
So I have Sacramento as my 13th seed.
Okay.
Team Russell Westbrook, I've got them 13th. Again, I don't like the fit of this team together. I think there will be nights where they have their guys going and they put up 140 points, but I don't think there's going to be enough of them in the West to give them a real push into the play-in or anything like that right now. Again, I think they'll be a fun team. They'll be an interesting team to watch, but I don't see them winning enough games in the West. So I have them 13th. Obviously, you don't have, I think our bottom two are the same. Who do you have in 13th?
13th, I had, that's where I have Phoenix.
Oh, our bottom two are not the same then.
13th. Yeah, well, because you had New Orleans up at 11. I have New Orleans 14th, Utah 15th.
Okay. I went Phoenix 14th and New Orleans. And if the Pels hit injury issues, yes, that'll knock them right back down again. And they're already dealing with something with Kevon Looney. So I think there's a lot of interchangeability here as well. The Suns may surprise some people this year. I can see a path where they can be significantly better than this. But just in general, we know this is very much a team in transition. We know this is not really the group that they're going to be forever, moving forward, like locked into. And I look at some of the teams I slotted ahead of them, and I think there's a bit more of a long-ish term investment into those players. I think the Kings need to make significant changes too. But when I look at, the Pelicans, they've kind of got their guys with Trey Murphy and Zion, and and we'll see where that ultimately goes. The Blazers certainly, I think, have a more of a stable foundation. The Suns, we know they have to make significant changes to really round out this roster. So I've got them in the 14th spot right now. And then Utah, I don't even think Utah would mind being where they're at right now, because I think they want one more shot at getting a really high caliber talent. Though I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch with Ace Bailey this year. And if we get a bounce back from Lauri Markkanen, I know Utah says they're not. Austin Age says no, we're not trading him. I think if we get a bounce back from Lauri Markkanen, Utah would be crazy to not really explore the market with him heading into the trade deadline.
Yeah, I will be very surprised if a year from now he's on the Jazz, unless they are way better this year than what we think. And it's like, all right, we're ready to actually move forward. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. So I'm with you. I think what's fun about these bad teams, Utah, Brooklyn, Washington, those I think are the three worst teams in the league. They're all loaded with kids that I am really excited to watch. I'm so excited to see how they develop. I think they're going to be a fun team to monitor from game 1 to game 82 on seeing how much better they get with those teams. So yeah, I'm excited for that. All right, ready to do some.
Oh, we did get just a little bit of injury news here. Moses Moody is doubtful for the regular season opener.
Okay, we did get another piece of news too. AJ Green signed an extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. What was it? It is 4-year, $45 million extension for AJ Green. So not bad. That's like what Sam Hauser got from the Celtics, 11 million a year.
Yeah,
a little less than the mid-level. No problem for that for one of the better shooters in the league. No issue at all.
Sure. Okay. Yeah,
All
no
right,
issue with
conference
that on my
finals.
front. Let's go to the conference finals. I'll just rattle off mine. In the East, I mean, I didn't do anything crazy here. In the East, I have the Cavs and the Knicks, and in the West, I have the Nuggets and the Thunder.
Yep. We the same. The two, yeah. Chalk, chalk, chalk. Let's go. Right. Like we might as well turn this into a Kansas Jayhawk show. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I, I'll say this: it's not going to be that. It won't be those four teams. I feel
Yeah.
pretty confident in someone will stumble, someone will rise. But today, those are the four teams I feel most confident in. I think the Cavs and the Knicks have set themselves apart in the East, and I think as I've said before, the Thunder and the Nuggets in the West. All right, what's your finals?
Okay, so my finals, I think they better, given how expensive they are. I've got the Cavs getting there, and I think they come out of the East. I thought they were great during the regular season last year. Things fell apart in the playoffs for them, but I have the Cavs making it this year all the way back to the NBA Finals. Health, fingers crossed, allowing them to do so, and then. I have OKC making it. Denver, I think, can give them a real run. And I was very tempted to pick the upset here and go with Denver. But I think if anybody is going to win back-to-back championships and break the streak of 7 straight years of a new champion, this OKC team, I think, is set up to do so. So I've got them getting back to the finals.
Yeah, something is going to have to go wrong for them, in my opinion, for them not to make the finals. So I picked OKC. Here's where we diverge. I'm actually picking the Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to be, by the time we get to the playoffs, they're really going to be ready to win. They had a big high level there. So it's I think it's going to be, I think that's where we're headed with this one. I think, no disrespect meant to the Cavs. I think the Cavs could very easily make it. I think there might be a move in there for either one of these teams. That could be what ultimately swings it there. But I like what the Knicks put together. I think the Knicks they were close last year, and I think they're going to feel like, all right, we're ready to take this step forward. And I'm with you. I'm picking the Thunder to win it all again. Repeat champs. I just don't know how they don't win unless something doesn't go wrong for them, like a major injury,
which could happen. I mean, Denver took them to 7 last year. You never know. But Keith, I'll say this, and this is, I think, my approach to the Thunder. If it is the Thunder or the field, I will take the field because of the chance that something could go wrong for the Thunder. But if it's Thunder or I have to pick any individual team like we would in this exercise, I'll take the Thunder.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, because I'm in the same boat as you. So for me, Thunder over Knicks. You've got Thunder over Cavs. Let's go. Right, I'm ready, man.
Start the season, baby.
Start it now. Like, if anybody's wondering, like, why'd you guys do this today? Well, Front Office Friday tomorrow live. So watch this and then join us tomorrow afternoon and come and yell at us and tell us how dumb we are, what we got wrong, and why the Charlotte Hornets are going to reign supreme on ring night.
They're going to be fun. They're going to be fun. They may not win a lot, but the Hornets they're going to be fun.
When we're this close to the season, like, I'm fired up to watch literally everybody. Like, I cannot wait to watch all these teams and see how they all kind of come together.
Maybe I need to downgrade. Hang on. I need to edit my rankings. Oh, no. Detroit Pistons guard Jaden Ivey underwent arthroscopic procedure to relieve right knee discomfort and will be reevaluated in 4 weeks.
Not great. That's tough.
Okay, now change my rankings to mimic yours, and I would move the Pistons down to 5 and the Hawks to 4.
Yeah. I mean, 4 weeks again. If it's 4 weeks, not the end of the world, right? Like, you can make that work. Puts more pressure on Marcus Sasser, Karis LeVert. Those guys were going to be ball handlers off the bench. Now they're going to have to play bigger roles. Maybe Chaz Lanier squeaks in there, the rookie guard. Dennis Jenkins has played well for them on a 2-way. But yeah, I mean, having this kind of work done this close to the season is tough. So maybe Asar Thompson takes on more ball handling. I don't know. I'm interested who starts there, like in for Detroit. Do you maybe go with do you maybe go with Ron Holland and move Thompson down? Do you move like Duncan Robinson in there in that designated shooter role? Like it's going to be interesting to see how they play that.
Do you buy the Ron Holland shooting that we saw from Summer League?
Ish. Like I need to see it in the real deal.
Yeah.
Like before I'm gonna be too fired up about that. So, but yeah, I think yeah, ish. I like Ron Holland. I mean, he's
Sure.
very tough. So I like the way he plays. I loved what JB Bickerstaff did with him last year. Made sure to always get him minutes every night, no matter how the game was going or anything like that. I thought that was really smart to make sure he was in there. But yeah, damn, we'll see.
All right. Well, there it is. There's our rankings, our predictions. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.